Hey folks, I'm Raven. Over the past week or so, I've had access to the Season 2 Early Access branch. I've probably played about 15 hours of Jeffy in Season 2 before Season 2's out, which puts me in a pretty unique position of being able to tell you guys with direct experience how I think Jeff is going to fare in the next season of Marvel Rivals. We're covering 3 main topics in this video. First off, Krakoa, the new map, and how it interacts with Jeff. Second, we're going to cover Emma Frost, the new hero, and how she interacts with Jeff. Finally, we're going to talk about where Jeff falls generally within the roster. He's the only strategist in the entire game that didn't get touched. So, where's that leave him? Is he weaker? Is he stronger? Did the indirect changes to other heroes leave him better off? We're going to talk about that as well. So let's jump into it. Is the Mutants Island Jeff's playground, or is it a Jeffy's worst nightmare? The new map being for the game mode Domination means there's actually 3 maps. It isn't just a singular map, it is 3 maps that share an identity. However, beyond sharing the Hellfire Gala and Krakoa setting, they also have 3 other things in common. They're all gorgeous. They might be my favourite maps aesthetically in the game so far, and I'm a slut for goth aesthetic. So the fact that these have beaten out the previous season's goth aesthetic for me, that means something. Secondly, they have pits everywhere. The maps are on islands, meaning all 3 maps have a large number of edges you can yeet enemies off as Jeff.
No! No!
And third, they are wide. They are large and wide maps, meaning you can flank from many a direction. You aren't forced into a narrow tunnel to fight the enemy head on as Jeff. The maps are really well designed to have lots of off angles and lots of different directions you can come at people from. There's high ground, there's low ground, there's left and right. They're really, really good maps. I'm excited to see how creative the community at large gets with Jeff on this map in particular, because it's genuinely so big. It's a domination map, you're all fighting over a single point in the middle, and there's fucking loads of space around it. It's crazy. Yeah, they're great. They're wonderful maps. But wait, there's more. For the fromage enjoyers among you, I mean, we're Jeff enjoyers. We all love a little bit of cheese. But for the extra cheesy, there are several spots on all 3 maps that you can hang your dive form from when you're ulting to break the audio cue for your ultimate. I've just hopped into game to record 2 examples for you. The first one that I think is going to be particularly useful is this one on the sort of more rocky, earthy looking map. You swim up this wall here. You have to be very careful at the top because it's almost like it's a triangular shaped wall and it will very quickly slide you off. But if you edge your way on, you can ult and then hold the input movement key towards the center of the wall, if that makes sense. So if you're on the left side, you want to be moving right. And if you're on the right side, you want to be moving left. And then when you click ult, you'll just sort of glide there and be able to wait until you're ready to go down without the audio cue. Now this one's way easy. You just go up this tall building and basically on your left here, where you come out the door, you've got a branch and the path, and you can just sit in between the branch and the path and you'll be floating. And then you can ult there and you stay there for as long as you want. It will try to tell you to go back to spawn and you have to wiggle to get out, but neither of those things are a massive issue. And it's right next to point, which means you can get a surprise ult off on the stinky enemy team trying to claim the point from Jeffy, which is obviously illegal. So to summarize, the maps are gorgeous, they have many yeet pits, they're wide, they're fun. I generally do not enjoy the domination game mode. It isn't my preferred game mode. I don't know why, I just prefer the moving objective. I feel like it's more fun. Maybe it's because I prefer my maps to be bigger, but either way, this map might be my favorite in the game, genuinely. Really, really good map, really good for Jeff. 5 Dolphin Jeffs out of 5 Dolphin Jeffs for Krakoa, smiley face.
Stop, New York City. Most of the sound factors
Emma Frost is a really well-designed hero, but when interacting with Jeff, there are a lot of what-ifs in the interactions to remember. For example, Emma Frost is immune to CC in ult, so you'd think that Jeff can't deal with her when she's ulting and he'd just have to run away and hope he doesn't get caught in it. But no, Jeff is immune to her ultimate when he's swimming. Jeff is also immune to her choke slam ability, where she sort of picks you up in the air and throws you onto the ground when he's swimming. But during Jeff's ultimate, after picking everybody up, there is technically a singular frame where you are above ground. if she hits you with her choke in that frame, it will immediately cancel your ultimate and you will drop everybody having used 100% of your ultimate. The window for it is so small, I can't actually recreate this, but Shroud did it to me. Now, the window for this is so tight, I can't recreate it myself, and I don't have any friends, which makes recreating things that takes 2 people difficult, but I can do it on a poor bot version of Jeffrey. So what you can see is when you ult as Jeff, the majority of the time you aren't contesting point because you're completely immune. And in Marvel Rivals, if you're completely invisible or immune in some way, you can't contest an objective. However, there is a very brief window, and by brief I mean frames wide, at the end of your ult where you're technically not immune, not CC immune, and above ground enough that the game lets you be grabbed by Emma. This is something that if you are playing Jeff, you need to be hyper aware of, because whilst right now, Shroud did it by accident and it isn't a widely known thing, as time goes on, people will learn how to play their heroes, and you will find Emma mains that learn this and can time it perfectly and ruin perfect ultimates by making themselves go into diamond form, making themselves immune, and then grabbing you out of your ultimate, cancelling it, and forcing you to drop everybody. That being said, I do not think Emma in any world hard counters Jeff, and in fact, the ability to hard counter Jeff's ultimate isn't even rare. About half the fucking roster hard counters Jeff's ultimate. So, in actual effect, it's just another thing to be aware of, which is a good way to summarize the Emma Frost and Jeff interactions. Emma has to try to keep track of the vulnerable spots in Jeff's playstyle, and you have to keep track of if she's used her diamond form, and if she has her ultimate, and if she has her crystal that lets her sort of like do double damage. A very fun hero that has a very fun interaction and playstyle against Jeff. 4 Snow Jeffreys out of 5 Snow Jeffreys. As I mentioned earlier, Jeff is the only strategist in the game that didn't get touched. How do I feel about this? No buffs or nerfs. Well, on average, Jeff's win rate is abysmal, but in my opinion, the reason for this isn't Jeff being weak. People play Jeff wrong. They play him like he's a mainline support, like his job is to primarily heal. That isn't what he's good at. He can do a lot of burst healing, but he can't do a lot of sustained healing. He isn't going to outcompete a Luna Snow or an Invisible Woman when it comes to healing her team. And I don't want to hear, well, technically I out-healed an Invisible Woman and a Luna combined once. Nobody cares. I'm talking about if both characters are played optimally to the highest possible potential. A Luna at her limit versus a Jeff at his healing limit. The Luna's always going to out-heal him. He isn't going to provide more utility for his team than, say, a Loki or a Mantis. Jeff is best as a skirmish hybrid between a Duelist and a Strategist. So, my honest opinion is, I don't mind that he wasn't buffed, because I think the community really underestimated Jeff's potential when they wrote him off as just another support. However, the changes to other champions have obviously affected how he plays a little bit. For example, Hawkeye has always been a character that you can beat in a 1v1, but it only takes one lucky headshot for him to beat you. Well, now he can fire off shots a lot faster, so it's become a bit more coin flippy than it was in season 1.5. His ultimate being available more often is a big issue for Jeff, since he can easily track your Finn and kill you, making him more deadly. Characters like Mantis are now easier to kill because the reduced health pool is what matters most for Jeff and his ability to kill her, but she was never difficult to kill for him anyway, assuming you know how to avoid the sleep. But overall, after playing Jeff for easily 15 hours in the Season 2 branch, I'm pretty comfortable saying wherever you would have placed him last season on your own tier list is probably about where he will be now. I'm gonna be honest, he's basically in the same position he was. He is no stronger, and the changes made to the other heroes haven't massively impacted him. You're going to have to be more cautious when fighting characters that got buffed, like, say, Scarlet Witch than you used to have to be, but characters like Doctor Strange are basically of minimal threat to you now, because he's substantially weaker. The balancing for Season 2 of Marvel Rivals gets 3.5 default Jeffreys out of 5 Jeffreys. Thank you for watching, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.
Oh, we can wallow in the mud?
Wait, stay like that.
Right.
No, come back.